Okay, so again, welcome to today's Lunch and Learn presented by Virginia Community Capital. I am Melody Short, Community Innovation Advisor, and I'm so excited to have you join us today to learn more about ways in which you can finance your small business, access capital resources, grants, and more. The resources that you'll learn about today will be available to small business owners within the Richmond region through our local offices of economic development. Before we continue, just a few housekeeping rules. We are recording this webinar. In addition, we'll send the link to all that registered next week. If you have any questions, we ask that you please submit your questions via the chat bar. I'm sorry, submit your questions in the Q&A box. That's ideal. However, we can grab them if you happen to place them in the chat box as well. And we will respond to your questions at the end of the session. At Virginia Community Capital, we work alongside several incredible organizations in the entrepreneurial ecosystem to be of service to small businesses and also to support our community development efforts. These organizations include the Office of Economic Development in Henrico County, Chesterfield County, and the City of Richmond. And so without further ado, I would love to introduce our first speaker for the Lunch and Learn, Ebony Atkins, who's representing the Henrico County Economic Development Authority. And Ebony will share a little bit about her office, but also resources that are available to you if you have a business in Henrico County. So Ebony, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Melody, for that intro. Let me get to sharing. We don't have any issues with this. All right, how's that look? We good?
We're good.
Okay, great. All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ebony Atkins. I am a managing director with the Henrico EDA. I work primarily with business retention and expansion, and I want to share, pretty briefly some of the services that we have to offer for businesses in the county, and some of them will even serve businesses that aren't in Henrico County. Real quick, just to let you know a little bit more about what the EDA does. Our goal is to market Henrico County. We want to be a pro-business location. If a company is looking for a place to locate, my job is to tell them why Henrico is the best place to do that. Nothing against my friends on the Zoom here, but I have a job to do and I'm going to do. And also we want to expand and diversify our tax base. So we value businesses of all sizes. And the main goal is to create a livable wage and high paying jobs for our residents here in Henrico and the region. Like I said, I focus primarily on business retention and expansion. So if a company is already in Henrico, my job is to maintain relationships with them, connect with them, troubleshoot any issues that they may have so that they can continue to grow and stay here in Henrico. I'm going to talk about 3 areas that I think are most relevant to small businesses. First is a new program we have is our HIP zones, which mirror our enterprise zones. If you're familiar with enterprise zones, then you'll quickly grasp what a HIP zone is. Also real estate search assistance, and we serve as, particularly my area, we serve as a conduit to regional resources that really help, especially if your business is just getting started. So there are different stages of business growth. And for my office, we're a little more focused on folks that are already established, but I have wonderful partners that help with business plans and financial documents and things like that to really get you started if that's the stage that you're in. So the Henrico Investment Program, or HIP zone, they mirror our enterprise zone benefits. It is a by right benefit. So I don't think many folks know that the county has a lot of resources when you're in that phase of where should I locate my business? And there are benefits to locating in certain areas of the county, the city, as well as Chesterfield. So when I say by right, if you are in a building that's in a geographically designated HIP zone, you will automatically get these benefits. You don't have to pay for them. It's not something that you have to do. There may be an application or something, but it's to you as a by right for locating in that area, because we are trying to spur redevelopment in certain areas of the county. So we recently created these HIP zones, Henrico Investment Program zones, in 5 corridors: the Mechanicsville Turnpike, areas along Staples Mill, West Broad, Patterson, and Williamsburg Road. The enterprise zones are much larger geographically, so there are a lot of areas across the county that you could locate in an enterprise zone. We do have a map online where you can look to see, am I in an enterprise zone? Is my building in an enterprise zone? And can I take advantage of those benefits? Now, with these programs, you do have to work with the property owner. You are not the building owner. So if you are leasing a property that is in a HIP zone or an enterprise zone, you would need to work with that owner to say, I need to take advantage of these resources. They would help in filling out that application and making sure that our community revitalization department is working with you to take advantage. Here are some of the incentives or programs that are available through HIP zone, as well as many of these are replicated in our enterprise zone. So for instance, if you see a building you want to lease, but there are some building facade issues or structural issues, there are grants available to support those renovations you would have to do in that building. So our goal is to address blight, to address any rundown areas of the county and make sure that whatever building you're occupying looks good even from the outside. And also there are some things that we can assist with interior as well. So with these programs, you do have to get bids from different contractors. You do have to fill out an application with community revitalization. But once you go through that process, these are the benefits that you can take advantage of in those HIP zones. Another example might be landscaping grants. So a lot of times you want that outside to look good. You want to put in trees, or you may need to put in some trees, bushes, things like that to help offset those costs. If you are located in these HIP zones or enterprise zones, you would then fill out the application and take advantage of that landscaping grant. Again, these are by right. So I'll show you some of the maps to show where these HIP zones are. Again, the enterprise zone map is online. We have a list of all the addresses. You can look by address, or you can go to our online map to see, is this building that I'm looking at in an enterprise zone, or is the building that I'm already occupying in an enterprise zone? Am I missing out on some dollars that I could take advantage of had I known? You know, of course, you could go out and do your own demolition or pay for updates to your signage. But why do that out of pocket when there are some county funds available to help offset those costs? So real quickly, these are the maps of where these enterprise zones are along the Mechanicsville Turnpike, around that Laburnum Avenue, areas of West Broad. I would say Pyram is kind of in the center of that. So if you think about some of the commercial corridors in Henrico where they were former shopping centers, they might have been, you know, top of the line in their heyday, but they could use some attention now. That's where we really focus these HIP zones at. Along Staples Mill as well, so near the train station, if you're looking to occupy a building in those areas, and as well as Patterson Avenue. So we tried to make sure that we covered, in some ways people mentioned East Henrico versus West Henrico. We wanted to cover the full footprint of Henrico County when we place these HIP zones. And lastly, along Williamsburg Road as well. So that's a major program that we have available that provides you those by right grants. I want to mention before I get into these small business resources or how I serve as a conduit to some of these resources, I'll back up a little bit. I do provide assistance with finding real estate. So if you go online and you're looking at where the enterprise zones are, the HIP zones, or if you know in your mind you need 5,000 square feet for your new, it could be a restaurant, a retail operation, it could be a consulting business, whatever your business is. If you need assistance with real estate, we are here to do that. We have access to CoStar, which is a national database of real estate, of properties, commercial properties that are available. And so just figure out, you know, what your specs are. How much square feet do you have? Are you doing any sort of warehousing? Do you need certain ceiling heights? Do you need dock doors or semi trucks or any type of trucks, box trucks backing up into that space? Figure out what are the key drivers for you from a real estate perspective, and you can reach out to our office. We will do our best to help you. We are not realtors, so we don't do the negotiating of leases or anything like that, but we will connect you to commercial brokers and realtors in this area if you have a particular need when it comes to real estate. And that's a free service. That's why we're here, to help you locate in Henrico. And then, as I mentioned, oftentimes I'm working as a connector, especially for folks who are in those very early stages. You have an idea. As many of us during COVID, we had some time to reflect on what we want to do with our lives. We're in the house, we're quarantined in a pandemic, and we want to do a career transition, or we want to catapult an idea that we're already working on. And so you may be in those very early stages of developing your business. These are the resources that I personally call on. I know many folks at these organizations and work very closely with them. So if you are looking for more educational opportunities, the Capital Region Small Business Development Center, who is hosted by VCC, they are a great resource for educational workshops. We have been doing a SWAM certification webinar quarterly in partnership with the Small Business Supplier Diversity. So we have been getting that education out on why you need to get SWAM certified. If you don't know what SWAM is, that's Small Women and Minority Owned Business. Those certifications open up doors for you to get local, state, and federal contracts as well. So you want to get SWAM certified. And the last one I'll mention is the business associations and other organizations. This is just a quick list of kind of my go-tos for organizations you should connect with. There are others out there, but if you are not tapped into these, I would strongly encourage you to do that, not only from the educational resources that they provide, but from a networking perspective. So getting to know the leaders of these organizations, but also other businesses may be your partners as you continue to grow and take your business to the next level. One last thing, we do have an event coming up on May 25th. We are doing a virtual resource fair with many of the organizations I just mentioned. It's in partnership with the Small Business Supplier Diversity and Capital Region Small Business Development Center. So many SBs going on around here, but SBSD, SBDC, SBA will all be online. They are going to give a quick pitch as to what resources they provide and how you can take advantage of those. And then we'll have a little Q&A after as well. So mark your calendars for that. Registration should be up later this afternoon, and you'll be able to take advantage of that. And again, here's my contact info. I believe they'll share out these slides, so I wanted to make sure that that was on there. If you have any questions or need anything, you can reach out to me directly. Follow Henrico EDA on LinkedIn. That's where we post a lot of our upcoming events as well.
Thank you so much, Ebony, for sharing. This information is incredibly valuable. So again, thank you. My hope is that our guests are taking notes and of course have taken note of your contact information should they have any questions around navigating the resources on your website. Next up, we have Letitia Jenkins. She is representing the Chesterfield Economic Development Office. And Letitia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you and Virginia Community Capital for inviting Chesterfield to participate with our regional partners. It's a great program and happy to be here. So let me share my screen. Okay, can you see that, Melody?
Yes, I can see it.
All right, wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being with us today to learn about all of our great programs and resources that we like to share with not only Chesterfield County businesses and residents, but our local partners as well, since we do meet up and cross-reference with a lot of programs and events, and happy to have everyone from the region participate with us. Just wanted to let you all know that here in Chesterfield County, small business assistance is a top priority for us. This is a pro-business environment, and we want to let you know that the county is committed to advising and promoting and protecting the interests of small businesses for as one of the growing aspects of our business community. We of course want all of our businesses to expand and grow, and we're here to assist them along the way in any way we can. We have a team of project managers here in Chesterfield that can assist businesses in different aspects. No matter who you reach out to, we all will are able to provide that assistance. But we do have some focus areas such as business attraction, business retention, expansion, workforce, tourism development, small business development assistant, as well as small business and entrepreneurship support, which I focus on. As I said, I am Letitia Jenkins, and I'm a senior project manager, and my focus is small business and entrepreneurship support. I host many events, work with a lot of the resources that Ebony presented earlier that we all work with to kind of be our base resources, since all of our departments aren't gigantic. We need our partners to help us with all the needs that are requested of us. And here are some business resources that are in-house for Chesterfield. We have our mybizstartshere.com, and exactly as it says, it's getting your business started step by step from your idea all the way to getting your business license with the Commissioner of the Revenue. So that's been available and has actually won many awards. We revamped it over the years to include our partners. So a lot of the partners that you've heard of, you can find their connections on this website. And we also have My Biz Grows Here. So not that much of a one-off, starts here, grows here. So it talks about established businesses and what resources they may need to stay in Chesterfield and expand effectively, because we want to keep you here, make you happy, and increase your business here in Chesterfield. As well as technology zones. We used to have enterprise zones like Ebony spoke of for Henrico, but ours expired, so we created technology zones instead. So we offer some of the same benefits that those enterprise zones once had, a waiver of fees for connecting to utilities, waiver of fees for machinery and tool taxes, rezoning fees, permitting fees. So if you are located in certain areas of the county, mainly along Route 1, formerly Jeff Davis Highway, and Worthall Interchange and Hull Street and some other places, we have a mapping as well on our county website to let you know where those locations are. You could benefit from locating in those particular zones. So please check that out if you are interested in using some of those incentives. A great resource, and actually I had an opportunity to work with Capital Region Small Business Development Center today. They're actually hosting an event today at one of our Chesterfield County libraries. Is a big resource here for us in the county. They are another partner that assists us with space for our businesses and to conduct programs such as this. They offer three main resources at the library for businesses, and that includes collections, spaces, and staff. So collections, of course, you have your books, your digital databases on all different topics for small businesses. They'll help you with online marketing, as well as there'll be databases there to help you learn how to market to the folks that you want to provide service to or start your business to assist. So a lot of those resources are available for you. If you're in Richmond or Henrico, you can also get a Chesterfield County library card and access those resources. Once you learn it, maybe at the library, you can do it from home after that. So it's a great resource to small businesses that may not be able to hire some folks and need to do stuff on their own. So please check out that. So spaces, if you don't want to meet in Panera or Starbucks, you can reserve our business suites at all of our libraries to conduct meetings or host events. So please check out that, and you can actually see what's available at the different libraries by having your library card and going on the website to reserve those spaces. They said that you can reserve up to 3 months. So you can almost kind of make it like a little office space if you need to conduct business. And lastly, you have the staff as a resource at libraries, and you can order your own personal librarian. So if you don't understand these databases and know how to do any of this stuff, you can get a librarian for 2 hours to teach you how to do these, work these resources and understand how to use them effectively. And you can do that as many times as you need to learn how to access the databases and use the library for your business benefit. I also wanted to speak on Chesterfield County procurement. We don't use the EVA program here in Chesterfield, where some other localities do. We have our own procurement, well, of course, department, but also a site. It's free to register for PING so that you can learn about what commodities and services that are coming up for contracting that you may be able to provide for Chesterfield County. So our procurement department pretty much handles everything for Chesterfield County, for schools, the government, police, fire, anything. The only thing they don't purchase is the food that is in the lunchroom. So anything that you can think of service-wise, you would go through our procurement department, and please register for the PING program so that you can get notices of what's upcoming. And it's free, so go on there today and please access that system. And if you don't understand what commodities you should be applying for, reach out to our procurement department, and a contract officer would be happy to assist you in participating in that database. As I spoke before, I do host many programs and events, and I have an email campaign that you see here in the monitor. So monthly, maybe bi-monthly, I'll send out information like this program to about 3,000 or so folks to let them know what's going on in Chesterfield, the region, and with our partners so that they can register and participate mainly for free events. So it's a great resource. So please pass it along if you are, if you do receive the email campaigns. Unfortunately, because it's a subscribe, unsubscribe type thing, it may be in your junk. So check out your spam and junk. I may be there, haunting you to let you know what's going on business-wise in the region. So please check that out. We offer breakfast with the buyers. That's actually with our procurement staff. And learning what contracts are coming up that you may want to participate in. Lunch and learns with our other partners, such as banking folks like First Citizens or New York Life, who may have a particular topic that I think our businesses would like to hear about. So they'll provide lunch and we'll host an event here for them. I said procurement events. We also work with SWAM kind of contractors who are a bit larger companies that are looking for smaller SWAM participants, and we'll host events here in Chesterfield to take them out of some of the other localities to come and have great parking and come access some of our resources here in Chesterfield County. As well as we host workshops and computer trainings with the Virginia Department of Small Business and Supply Diversity for SWAM certifications and EVA training. We'll actually be hosting one with Randy Brown on the 23rd at that North Courthouse Road Library to train in the morning and afternoon and work one-on-one with him to get active in those programs. So I think that is all. This of course, is my contact information, and we'll provide you with these slides and our contact information. But please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm delighted to be with you all today. Thanks so much, Melody.
Thank you so much, Letitia. We are so happy that you were able to join us and share so much wonderful information for our attendees. Again, we will be providing a recording of this session to all that registered, to include the decks. Next up, we have Rick Winston, representing the City of Richmond Office of Economic Development. The floor is yours, Rick.
Thank you, Melody. Good afternoon. The City of Richmond, through the Economic Development Authority, has several loan funds available for small businesses. There's a citywide revolving loan program, economic development revolving loan program, and the contractors assistance program. All of these programs or loan funds are available for businesses that are located in the city of Richmond. And they can be used for a variety of purposes, but they must address the 3 HUD objectives, national objectives, because our funding is from HUD. So those objectives are the elimination of slum or blight, meeting a community need that is of a dire concern that's not currently being met, or to reduce poverty in the region. The first 2 are a little more difficult because none of us can designate an area as a slum or a blight. That has to be done by either the federal, state, or city localities. A dire need in a community that's not being currently met, that's also a difficult objective, but reducing poverty is something that any business has the ability to do. And with that, it's also has to do with job creation. So the citywide revolving loan fund can be used for machinery, equipment, leasehold improvements, or other qualifying uses that I previously mentioned with the HUD objectives. The maximum loan for that program is from $0 to $250,000. And depending on the actual use, the term could be up to 10 years. And then we have the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund, which is the purposes are the same. The only difference is the amount. The maximum loan for that is up to $500,000. It can be used for property and land acquisition, working capital, machinery and equipment, and a variety of other uses. The last program or funding program is the Contractors Assistance Loan Program. And this program is used for contractors that actually have a contract to do work with the city of Richmond. The biggest factor that most small contractors have is working capital. And I'm sure my counterparts, even though you can't use this loan for working deals in Henrico or Chesterfield, but their small contractors have similar problems that ours have. And that's once you do obtain a contract from a municipality, you perform the work, you submit your submittals for payment, and then it takes a while before you can actually receive that first payment from the city or the counties. Meanwhile, your workforce is expecting to get paid. And typically they're paid weekly. Well, this Contractors Assistance Loan Program helps with working capital and also mobility or mobilizing to get that contractor's equipment and everything on site. And that loan fund will be up to $100,000. Also, as a part of the funding, for every $35,000 that's borrowed, the recipient has to provide a job for a low to moderate income individual. So if the loan is made for $105,000, that business will have to create 3 jobs for low to moderate income individuals. You do have 2 years to provide that service, and I will send out quarterly statements that you will complete, stating what job has been offered and what job has been formed for that particular project and for that particular fund. Also, I'd like to say I don't have all of my information so that I can share the screen, but it will get sent to you in the recording package from that Melody will send out next week. Just as Ebony said, the city for Henrico, the city of Richmond also has several grant programs. We have the Enterprise Zone program that will cover a lot of costs, that relocation costs. We'll even rebate your loan fee if there's a loan that was obtained for purchasing equipment that wasn't done through one of the loan programs of the city. We have a machinery and equipment rebate and a brownfields rebate. I can go into detail with all of those, but I think it's easier just to provide you with this information at a later date. And if you have any questions, you can contact me directly. Then we have the Care Zone program, which is commercial area revitalization effort. And there are 14 care program areas in the city. And the rebates will cover just about anything: exterior rehabilitation, interior rehab, water lateral sprinkler system, or security improvements. Some other things that the rebate program for care can be used for is any electrical, plumbing, flooring, or painting rehab. And for those two programs, the Care Zone and Enterprise Zone, George Bolos is the primary contact for that. In the information that will be distributed, his contact information and my contact information will be available. And I know I went through this very quickly, but if you have any questions, I know for me, I usually don't have a question right away, but tonight about 9 o'clock, I'll have a bunch of questions. So my contact information will be available. You can send the emails to me with your questions or George Bolos. I will not probably respond to you if you send them to me tonight at 9 o'clock, but I will respond to you in the morning. And Melody, thank you so much for having me here. It was a pleasure joining these two wonderful ladies from Chesterfield and Henrico that had a tremendous amount of information. And to all the participants, good luck. And I look forward to answering your questions and maybe talking with you in the near future. Again, thanks, Melody.
Thank you so much, Rick. Thanks so much again to each of you for providing us with such valuable information to include the incentive programs, information, opportunity funds, enterprise zone programs, and more. I'm like opening up my screen as if I can see everybody in person. I am strongly encouraging you. These are resources that have been created with you in mind. And sometimes they remain untapped because you don't know about the resources. Well, that changes today because we have had some wonderful presentations. And so now you have the information. If you have any questions, you have the contact information so that you can ask the questions. But we also encourage you to share. As a business owner, share this information with your counterparts, other small business owners as well, because they really want you to take advantage of these resources. So with that in mind, you must have some questions. I encourage you to not be shy, and we welcome your questions. We ask that you place them in the Q&A box, ideally, or if the chat is easier for you, that's fine. I'm happy to retrieve the questions and present them to the panel. So we encourage you to ask away. The first question is there a map of slums that the city has determined? Not that link.
No, there is no map that designates areas as slum or blight that I'm aware of. I will check to see if I can get a list available for you. But you know, and I'm going to use this as an example. Let's say I'm a developer. I just can't go into a neighborhood because I have an interest in a development there, and I designate that area as slum or blight. It would have to come from certainly an independent reviewer, and typically it's at the federal and state level. But I will follow up on that.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Rick. Any other questions from our guests? Any questions around the opportunity zones? Any questions around enterprise zones, incentive programs for each of the jurisdictions? We welcome you to ask them. Do not be shy. Or even some of the events, upcoming programming that has been shared. And I guess we can confirm, Ebony, Letitia, and Rick, the upcoming programs that you have, are you all doing in person? I know that Chesterfield did a collaboration with Capital Region SBDC today, but have you transitioned all of your programming to in person, or is there a hybrid happening?
We're doing hybrid. So the one that I mentioned on May 25th, that's actually a virtual. We are bringing together 6 organizations. So it was just easier to get a virtual thing on. This would probably be our last virtual. We hope to do an in-person resource fair this fall in August. So we're planning for that as well. But it makes it easy, you know, with it being virtual, you can sign on in the parking lot of your job if you want to just hop on, you know, or step away for a minute and get the information that you can. So.
Okay, thank you for confirming.
For me, Melody, the 23rd event at North Courthouse Road with Virginia Department of Small Business Supplier Diversity, that's in person. It'll be, I guess, morning and afternoon, and we'll most likely also have our procurement director there to talk about the PING program. So some contract officers, so that will be in person. And I do have some virtual like business taxes that you can drop on every other month if you have business tax questions throughout the year. So a hybrid, saying all that.
Okay. I think that seems to be the way, and likely we'll be moving forward with a lot of our offerings. We have a question for the city of Richmond. So Rick, is Shockoe Bottom in particular 1300 block of East Carey Street in an area that offers certain programs available?
Shockoe Bottom, parts of it, and I'm sorry, I can't, I'm pretty sure 1300 East Main Street is part of the CARE Zone program.
But I can say this myself, having gone to your website several times. You can actually, so this is Ruth, you can, when you go to the Office of Economic Development's website for the City of Richmond, you can determine if that particular address is part of, or can benefit, you can benefit from one of the programs.
Yeah, if you go, as you said, Melody, if you go to City of Richmond and then pull down the Economic Development Department and go under incentives, there is an interactive map that you can put in the address under CARE as well as under the enterprise zone. And if the location is in either of those, and it'll show that it is. Also, you can go to the real estate assessor's website and put in the address, and either in planning or zoning drop-down menu, they'll have a designation that's in the CARE zone or in enterprise zone. So you can go either to either of those locations and it will designate that for you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to place the link for each of you, your agencies within the chat. our guest. Let me just add Henrico. I do have a few more questions. Is there a preference of SWAM business and loan and grant programs? So I guess with grant and loan opportunities, is it favorable if a business is SWAM certified?
No, we can't. We don't distinguish between SWAM. This is race neutral, gender neutral programs that we have at the city of Richmond. It just, again, you have to be located, the business has to be located in the city.
Okay, and what about for Chesterfield and Henrico?
The same will be true for Henrico. It's neutral as far as business ownership. It's more about that geographic location.
Same for Chesterfield.
Okay, wonderful. That's incredibly helpful. The next question, let's see. Okay, this is for City of Richmond. Rick, can you speak to the underwriting criteria for the loans with the city?
Yes. We would like to see a business that has a track record. They've been, you've been established for a couple, 3 years. That's not, if it's a startup, that's not necessarily a disqualifier. It's just that to get qualified would be more difficult. We do pull credit reports. As you know, historically, the higher the credit score, the better the opportunities are. That's not necessarily, there is no credit score that you have to be approved. But as we all know, if your credit score is like 500, there's a reason that it's 500. And typically it's not because you're paying as agreed. It's because you've had some differences in paying on time and paying on time routinely. But there are, there are extenuating circumstances, but there is no perfect credit score. We do look at it because it's an indicator of how that person will pay any loan that is approved through the Economic Development Authority.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rick. The next question is for Chesterfield County. So are grants available for startup businesses? And I would say this is a great question for both Ebony and Letitia, because that, it has been presented itself in many organizations that I've come across within the ecosystem. A lot of businesses were obviously launched during COVID. And so a lot of small business owners locally are trying to determine where they can actually find some capital resources as a startup.
Unfortunately, for startups, it's hard to find grant funding. Like Melody just indicated, during the pandemic, there was a need for certain types of business or certain types of things. So there may have been funds to assist with starting. Like for us, if you wanted to start a child daycare center, hey, we might have money for you because we need daycare. So it all depends on what type of business you're starting, your track record in running that business. So if it's something that's very much needed, I won't say that there's a grant. There just may be funds or incentives available to you depending on the type of business you bring to our department. But routinely, there's not startup, like Rick had indicated. People want a track record of being in business. So it's hard to take that shot on something new.
I would echo that. It is frustrating because I know when folks have a business idea and they want to get started, people will say, well, do you have a family member you can borrow money from? And, no one friends that could invest, but really that in many ways is how a lot of businesses get started. And once they get that track record going, then they are able to access some capitals through some traditional financiers. One resource I will direct you to is the Small Business Finance Authority. Letitia mentioned daycare centers. They have a program right now for folks that are looking to start a daycare center because that is a great need. They also have a microloan fund, but I believe that's for more established business as well. So that may be one resource, but traditionally we don't have a lot for startups. You do have to, the resources that I know of, you do have to show you've been in business for 3 years or more, and not necessarily super lucrative, but you do have to have that paperwork in order.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. If you don't have any other questions, I'll give you an opportunity one last time to see if any of the attendees have any other questions. Check the chat. Okay. Go ahead, Rick. Mm-hmm.
I'd just like to put in a plug for one of our teammates here at the city. If you are in need of technical assistance, the Office of Minority Business Development is a good resource. And I mean, they can help you. They have partners that can help you develop a business plan, help you with just a number of things as far as technical assistance. A lot of small business people are great at their small business, but some of the back office things that will sustain a business, maybe not so good at. And the Office of Minority Business is a good place to get some needed technical assistance. So I would look into that and look into that group as well.
Well, you know what, Rick, I want to just add one additional thing. For businesses that are in the 2-year or less category, I encourage you to really, during these first 2 years, make sure you have a solid foundation for your business so that you reach an 18-month point or further, you have a sense of your financials, because the reality is we talk a lot about credit score, and that's important. And if the credit score is not where it should be, there are resources for that. We have a resource with Virginia Community Capital that we can send your way to help you work through your credit score, but also having a sense of what's coming in, what's going out. And so I always tell business owners, I may be really, really good at baking cakes, but the numbers may not be my space. And so I encourage you to invest in that on the front end. Get a CPA, someone that can manage your books, because ultimately when applying for a grant or even a loan, they will ask. That question will always be asked of you. And so those books have to be clean. And so don't be afraid to make that investment on the front end on having a CPA for your business, because ultimately any of the resources that have been shared today, they will want to get a snapshot of your financials. I'm doing one last quick check. Okay. And so, we're hopeful that all those that are joining us today, that you're leaving us this Lunch and Learn feeling empowered and confident that you have more resources that you can access in your arsenal as an entrepreneur. At Virginia Community Capital, we are excited to share information on our Economic Equity Fund. So we also have a loan fund. In 2020, VCC developed a $10 million loan fund that provides low-cost financing for small, minority, and women-owned businesses that were affected by the economic impact of the pandemic. And so in addition to low-interest loans for eligible borrowers, we have resources allocated to include free technical assistance and consulting through our community-based partners like those that are joining us today. So to learn more about that loan fund, we encourage you to visit us at virginiacommunitycapital.org. I'll put that in the chat, along with, just kind of where to click, and you can learn about eligibility requirements. I'll include my contact information. Happy to schedule a call with you if you're interested in learning about that loan fund, if you're looking for some capital resources. But I strongly encourage you, again, Chesterfield County, Henrico County, the city of Richmond, They all have resources available that have been shared. Take advantage, seek, additional information if you need to. We'll send this recording to you along with the decks next week. In closing, just thank you so much again for your time. We welcome you to share, join us, I should say, next time. We're actually doing this every month, this Lunch and Learn. And so these sessions have been crafted based on what we're hearing from small business owners. Credit is a big thing. Access to capital resources is a big thing. So next month at Lunch and Learn will take place virtual. All of these sessions will be virtual. Next Thursday, May 26th at 12 p.m. During that time, we'll share information on VCC's Virginia Fresh Food Fund Loan. And so this is including federal, state, and local funding resources for food-based businesses. So if you have a food-based business, or if you know of anyone with a food-based business, there are resources that have been allocated specifically for businesses in this industry. We ask you that you join us. You can register for that session on our website, spread the word via social media. Again, thank you for your time. I'd like to thank all of our panelists for carving time out of their busy schedules to share. My hope is that your offices become flooded with small business owners taking advantage of these incredible resources. Have a great rest of your day, and we hope to have you join us next month.